The coastal city of Mombasa has been the jewel of the country since independence. From the Indian Ocean, the city is the entry point for many tourists who use cruise ships, yachts, and even speedboats to access it and the country. Millions of visitors also come to this town from other parts of the country for their vacation to enjoy the predominantly sunny weather and tour the old town. Others come here to engage in trade. The port of Mombasa is also the entry and exit point for many goods and services. It is a pillar in Kenya's economy. It is the country's oldest and second largest city after the capital Nairobi, with an estimated population of about 2 million people, according to a census conducted 2 years ago. Mombasa is a cosmopolitan city. However, the Swahili and Mijikenda are predominant. The major religions practiced in the city are Islam, Christianity and Hinduism. Over the centuries, many immigrants and traders have settled in Mombasa, particularly from the Middle East, Somalia and the Indian subcontinent, who came mainly as traders and skilled craftsmen. The construction of the Kenya-Uganda Railway in the 18th century brought Mombasa's city's existence to the fore. The city has rapidly expanded since the construction of the railway line. The expansion has come at a cost. The city appears to be losing its shine a lot faster than it has grown, thanks to the congestion and this. Garbage heaps, hundreds of them. Everywhere you look and turn, there's an eyesore for your viewing pleasure, if you can call it that, almost always accompanied by a pungent smell. It has been going on for more than a decade now. In fact, very few people in this coastal city remember when they last saw it clean.
Ni aibu kubwa kwamba jiji la Mombasa ndio jiji la pili katika Jamhuri ya Kenya na bado sisi tumezembea upande wa usafi. Kwa hivyo naweza sema ni changamoto kwa kaunti ya Mombasa government, na itabidi tujikakamue ndio tuweze kupata ile hadhi ya kimataifa, labda kuweza kukaribisha wageni wetu katika mji wa Mombasa.
Kwa kusema kweli, mtaa si safi vile. Uchafu imezidi.
End of June nataka Kibarani ifungwe. Takataka zisipelekwe tena Kibarani, my friend.
This was late last month when the Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho gave a stern directive to his Environment CEC, demanding the closure of one of the biggest dumping sites in East and Central Africa. According to the governor, no more dumping will take place at Kibarani by the end of June. For anyone who passes through the Makupa Causeway, either to or from Mombasa, the Kibarani dump site is what embraces you and welcomes you to the city or bids you farewell after enjoying the coastal weather, delicacies and its cultural diversity. Smoke billows from the dump site every second of every minute of every hour. It is an eyesore that has bothered both residents and non-residents for years. This is the famous Mbaraki area in Mombasa. Just like many parts of the coastal town, it was turned into a dumping site by unscrupulous individuals. On the opposite side of the dumping site is the Mbaraki police station, which is manned around the clock. We found all sorts of garbage thrown here, from carton boxes to kitchen waste, medical supplies waste, among many other things. These crows have made this dump site their home. They pick foodstuff and even scratch the earth for maggots, which have probably hatched from the insects' eggs and other filthy waste material. From here, the birds, in all likelihood, spread the filth consumed and acquired at this site to other parts of the city. This is one of the areas that the county government of Mombasa had declared as illegal to dump in. But each morning, council askaris would wake up to find more garbage here. Just who was responsible for this mess?
Hii si mambo ya county, ni watu wenyewe. Kwa sababu napata mtu hata hapo barabarani anatupa taka. Na najua hiyo taka inafaa hifadhi. Aweke hata kama ni kulipa mtu 20 aenda tupe mahali inafaa kutupa.
At first we thought it would be very, very easy actually. And we thought people will respond to our request not to take waste to those designated places. Because most of these places are actually near people's residences. And we thought that if we say nobody should dump waste there, the people will even come out and support us if they spot anybody dumping there. But that did not happen. So what we did is that we engaged our inspectorate officers to man these places. And for 1 to 2 weeks now, we have been having some arrests of those people who dump in those particular places.
On this day, the CEC in charge of environment instructed council officials to remove the garbage once and for all. The exercise started early morning, and by noon, there was still a lot to be collected. Using an earth mover, county workers had a tedious time working beneath the scorching sun to ensure that Mbaraki was restored to the clean state it had been in years back. We watched as several tons of garbage were ferried from Mbaraki to Kibarani, and with each scoop, the workers hoped that they would not have to do this job again, at least not here in Mbaraki. Before sunset, all the garbage had disappeared. Garbage collection and disposal in the county of Mombasa has not been a smooth affair. The city of Mombasa has lacked proper structures and methods of garbage disposal. It is an age-old problem.
A quick fix, you will say it's possible, but when it comes to the machinery for waste collection, it's not as easy as you may think. Because when it comes to purchasing, we are talking about trucks that cost millions and millions of shillings. Like for example, if you want to get one new tipper, it will cost you about 8 to 9 million shillings. If you want to get a compactor, between 9 and 10 million to even 12 million shillings. If you want to get a bulldozer, we are talking about 30 to 33 million Kenya shillings. And so when you talk about a quick fix, you know, we are talking about millions and millions of shillings.
And obviously,
now this is a government system. You know, you don't just spend that kind of money. You have to plan for it. And as I told you, the county thought it will get in that arrangement those trucks. It didn't happen. And so it takes a bit of time for us now to plan for new trucks, and that's what we are doing now.
For decades, residents and even manufacturers of various products in this town have been dumping waste in any available empty space. And even though the County Council of Mombasa was tasked with collecting garbage, the task was just too much for them to deal with. Lack of equipment and even trucks, coupled with continuous strikes by council workers, ensured that the garbage collection became a perennial problem.
Wakati wa ukoloni ilikuwa mazingira ilikuwa mazuri. Sasa wakati huu tupata uhuru, wakati wa Kenyatta ilikuwa yani yabadilika mpaka kafikia wakati huu tuona kutofahamikiana wala hatufahamu kwamba tuishi vipi sasa.
We realize the magnitude of the problem. Now, solid waste management is, handling waste is a process that you will not want to expose somebody for a very long time. So usually people who work in this handling waste, they work from around 7 to mostly morning hours. So what we did is that we introduced a shift kind of. So we work in the morning, and then we break, and then we also work from evening around 6 to around 11. So that now doubled our effort of waste collection.
In 2013, when Governor Joho took office as the first governor, he got to work as promised during the electioneering period. His county government invited individuals to provide the county with trucks that would be used to ferry garbage to Kibarani. All county council trucks that had been used by the county council previously had grinded to a halt, most of them broken down. Joho's program appeared to be working at first, but soon problems started to emerge. The trucks were parked at designated areas within residential areas where residents would go and dump their kitchen waste and other household garbage. Once full, the journey to Kibarani would begin. This program went on for more than a year. But soon there was a stench of garbage everywhere, especially near residential areas. As the truck drivers waited for the trailers to be full, sometimes for as long as a whole week, the garbage started to rot. The scorching sun and the rain made the environment unbearable.
This company had put in place a number of trucks in different places, almost in all estates across the country. All the wards within the country. So when they pulled out with those trucks. Now once the truck is full, the trucks had a phone number alongside it. So somebody will call on that number, and then the company comes and takes the truck to Kibarani. That was the model. So they were kind of stationary trucks. I think it was a quick fix, but I also think that probably that was the best option they had at that time. Although I will not say that is a very, very good option, because in some areas the accumulation of waste takes a bit of time. So the truck will stay there for 1 or 2 weeks. Now within that 1 or 2 weeks, the truck is open on the top. And so if it rains and the waste is soaked, you could hear characteristic smell emanating from that truck to the neighborhood areas.
Then another problem emerged. Maintenance of the trucks became a tug of war between the county government and the owners of the trucks. The wear and tear became the norm. Some trucks started to stall and eventually totally broke down. Soon, payment and rendering of services between the owners of the trucks and the county government became a stinking problem. The truck owners downed their tools and the county government declined to pay. Meanwhile, the garbage piled up everywhere in Mombasa, and so too did the stench.
The best way would have been for a system that we call curbside collection system, where the vehicles move in the estate on specific days and then they collect waste and they take it to the designated dumpsite. That would have been the best option at that time.
The tussle between the owners of the trucks and the county government dragged on, with truck owners ensuring that Joho's initial plan did not take off again. They went to court and got orders barring the county government from getting into a new deal with other interested parties willing to carry on with the garbage collection. For more than 3 years, Joho's plan stalled. With little resources, the county government had to rely on a few and broken down trucks previously owned by the city council to transport the garbage. It was a filthy state of affairs.
Sahii wewe unabeba taka, utakuja uwache kazi ya kubeba taka, ubakie ukua raia, wengine wao wanabeba taka. Sasa kama ulikuwa unapatia wale wengine maudhiko, na wewe ongojea yako.
We kind of abandoned that push to get those trucks back. Now what happened is that people had gotten used to those areas where the trucks used to be. And so even with the removal of the trucks, people continued to put waste in those places. But now the problem is they were putting waste on the ground. And that has given us a challenge because now you have over 58 of such places.
But it wasn't long before the county government engaged the services of hand-cut pushers to collect and ferry the garbage to Kibarani.
Then what we did is we did a small I would call survey, not a formal survey, and we realized that there are so many players in waste collection in the county. Those ones that use hand carts or mkokoteni, those ones that use canters, and those ones that use lorries. And these people are paid by the people to collect waste from them. They are licensed, most of them, by they were licensed that time by National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, to collect waste and take that waste to the designated dump site. But what they were doing is that once they collect that waste from the households, instead of taking the waste to the designated dump site, they were putting it in those illegal dump sites that were mushrooming all over.
Hundreds of young men got into a temporary agreement with the county government to collect the garbage and transport it to the Kibarani dumping site. The Kibarani dumping site is several kilometers from the central business district.
Umekuwa ukicollect ama ukikusanya taka kwa muda gani sasa?
Kama sasa kama 6 years. Na sasa vile naona vile county imetupeleka. Noma sana. Kutoka town tunalisukuma baka hapa. Na zamani ilikuwa ni simple. Tumekio mali na collect tunapeleka. Sasa tunakimbizana na hii nini barabara kama gari.
Inakuchukua muda gani kutoka Mvita mpaka hapa pengine kusukuma ili kusukuma mkokoteni?
Sasa tukisema kutoka hapa Majengo mpaka hapa ni karibu, lakini nikiangalia wenzangu kuna mtu anatoka from Lighthouse mpaka hapa. Yaani ukienda hivi unaweza chukua 1 hour yani kwa barabara. Ukisema kurudi utaki kazi nyingine. Yaani kwa ni ngumu sana.
Na wewe unaweza piga trip kama ngapi kwa siku?
Kwa siku kama ya vile gari kitambo ilikuwa karibu, ilikuwa napeleka kama 3 trips. Sasa inaweza peleka moja.
The journey from Mombasa with a handcart full of garbage is no easy task, as many of these handcart pushers can attest. On our way to Kibarani, we pass several handcart pushers heading in the same direction. The sun above making matters worse, but they had to push and push some more. Sometimes they endanger their lives just by being on the highway. Truck drivers will at times bully them out of the way. Once at the dumping site, the handcart pushers call for help to push their heavy loads over the trenches and onto the dumping fields. Here we are told everyone who brings a load of trash has to pay before accessing the dumping site.
Kuna mtu niliona anatoka from Mwembetiari, Old Town kule analeta taka hapa. Na huyu mtu ana familia sasa, akifika pale hataki story, amechoka hata. Mwingine karibu agonge na gari hapa. Sasa tungeangalia tu count watu angalie pale. Karibu tu kama ni Mvita weke pale pamoja, kama ni wapi pale pamoja.
A county government official who declined to be interviewed shows me a list of how the dumping charges are collected. A handcart full of garbage costs 20 shillings, while a private truck offloading trash here will cost 200 shillings per trip. We are not told whether this money gets to the county government.
Naweza beba mkokoteni kama imejaa. Nikiangalia vile kazi imeenda, kama imeenda nzuri, naweza chukua 1000 ama 800. Na hiyo sina ukuli peke yako wajua. Kuna mtu utashika hapo mkuje naye. Tuseme tukigawana pesa, naweza toka na 5.
Na je, county imewapa mikokoteni ama vile vile ni yenu?
Vile vile ni yetu. Ukodishe, ununue ni yako. County hata hakuna lolote wametusaidia nayo pande ya.
As a CEC Judge of Environment, I'm not comfortable with Kibarani. Kibarani is not a good location for a dump site, and the department understands that. And what we are doing now, we have initiated the process of decommissioning Kibarani. By the end of last week, we had identified 3 places that we can use for dumping so that we can close Kibarani. But you know, a dump site or a landfill area is not a place you just move in and start using it, because usually you have to do a bit of public participation so that people understand what you are going to do, and then people accept the fact that that place is going to be used for that purpose.
At the dumping site, one would think that they are at a manufacturing plant. Street families live and thrive here. Once garbage is dumped, sorting takes place fast. Those interested in plastics, boxes and other items will sift through the fresh load of garbage and store it in their sacks. We are told there is a market for every kind of waste product from here.
NTV. Niambie tu kitu gani unachofanya hapa kila siku? Jo, dakika moja, angalia hapa.
Utanilipa?
Sasa mambo ya kulipana.
500 niongee naye. Kama ni 500 nipe 500.
Niambie tu.
Wewe mwenyewe angalia sasa hivi nimeshinda sijakula. Alafu mimi ningongee mimi wao unaenda ingiza pesa.
Lakini kazi gani unayofanya hapa kila siku?
Nipe pesa alafu nikwambie. Nipe 500.
Sina pesa.
Basi niache, maana hata kuna kitu tunasaidia nacho.
Na wako nini plastiki lakini?
Si chupa nipe 500. Nipe 500 ndo nikwambie.
This earth mover is constantly humming, pushing away old garbage further afield. It is a process that has to be done every day in order to create space for new garbage that comes here daily. Without supervision, everyone worked his or her bit, children too. This dumping site has been in existence for decades. Many have termed it an eyesore because of its proximity to the city and even the highway. It has been termed a health hazard on many occasions, and there have been plans to relocate it many years back.
This is the famous Kibarani dump site right in the outskirts of Mombasa town. Now, this dump site has been in existence for several decades. It has been an eyesore for many years. It is situated close to 2 kilometers from Makupa Causeway, the highway from Nairobi to Mombasa. But here you will find all sorts of activities taking place every single day. You will find bulldozers pushing the garbage to a different location. And you will also find young children, men and women sifting through the garbage, separating kitchen waste, plastics, and even paper. This dump site has been an eyesore, but moving it has been a daunting task for the leadership of Mombasa.
The land in which the dump site sits is more than 20 acres. Surrounding it are office parks, the industrial area, and a section of the Mombasa port. Currently, some of the waste finds itself in the Indian Ocean, creating a health hazard for sea animals. Because of chemicals being dumped here, several fires erupt almost on a daily basis, and it is difficult to put them out. This is what causes air pollution along the Makupa Causeway. While many have blamed, and rightfully so, the county government of Mombasa for failing to keep Mombasa clean, residents of this magnificent old city must take the blame too. In many parts of the city and even residential areas, one will find trash dumped by people who have little care about the environment they live in.
People have received money from those who generate waste. They could be companies, they could be estates, they could be hotels. And they are paid handsomely with the understanding that they are taking that waste to Mwakirunge, which is between 11 kilometers to 25 kilometers, depending on the road that you will take from the CBD. So what they do is that because they want to make more profit, that distance they want to cut it short and save fuel and the trips that they will go there. So they end up now dumping it in these places that we are trying to clean.
This is Chuda along the Tomboya Avenue behind the Technical University of Mombasa. This area has also been turned into a dumping site. Examination and revision papers are among the trash dumped here. For several months now, the garbage has remained uncollected, with more garbage continuing to be dumped here. The county government, the university fraternity, and the community around here have not yet found the need to remove it. Mombasa's old town remains one of the most visited areas in the coastal region. It boasts of the Fort Jesus, as well as the old port and houses that were built during the reign of the Sultan. The structures of the story buildings here are a sight to behold, artistic and cultural in nature. Most of them are still occupied and stand firm 100 years later. But the beautiful site that is the old town is also becoming an eyesore. Residents who live on the lower part of the old town are responsible for this, dumping on the shores of the Indian Ocean. There were bottles and plastic bags, among other items, dumped here. Soon, these will end up in the ocean and will choke the life out of some of the sea animals. How to get the garbage from down there remains a puzzle both for the locals and the county government. For now, the garbage continues to rot. Elsewhere in the city, more garbage, this time in garbage bins. But the collection seems to have been delayed. Without anyone to man such bins, pets such as cats will climb the garbage bins and remove what they want to feed on. In Mombasa's Majengo area, residents are happy about the progress made so far towards cleaning the city, but they admit a lot more ought to be done.
Sahi system will change. Mtu akionekana tu atupa takataka mahali pengine anashikwa. Kidogo kuna natija kidogo. Lakini sasa kuna vitu vingine kama pale ona barabarani. Kumkata ule mti umekaa pale siku nyingi ambapo kisawasawa ile roli ilikuwa takana itoe. Maana sasa ikikaa pale vile kwa muda mrefu kuna mwingine anakuja usiku hakuna mtu ajuae abwaga lafanywa tena ajali.
Mahali ninapokaa mimi nakaa katika nyumba ya Kiswahili. Kila mmoja na pipa lake. Ile pipa likijaa kuna wale vijana wanapita na mkokoteni. Wanaenda wakichukua kila nyumba pipa lilikuwa limejaa ni kama shilingi 50. Mimi kama kwangu mimi natoa shilingi 50. Ile pipa ni pipa dogo ile ya 20 liters. 20 liters ile drum ya 20 liters. Ile natoa kama shilingi 20. ama shilingi 30 ama, lakini sasa wamepandisha wameweka 50. Maana wanasema kweli wanaenda Kibarani. Na kweli mimi najua Kibarani.
Actually, the best idea would have been that sorting of that waste is done at the point of generation. Like for example, at the household level. Such that from your house, if you have a plastic, you are supposed to put it in a different container and the rest. And that will have been the ideal way, so that even in terms of collection and transportation, each different waste goes to different vehicles or different containers for that purpose, so that it becomes easy now for those ones who want plastics to get their plastics, those ones who want kitchen waste to get their kitchen waste. But that requires a bit of serious investment in that kind of infrastructure, both at the household level and also at the county level.
This spot in Kisauni was previously used as a dumping site, but things have changed now after the county government threatened to arrest anyone dumping garbage here.
Siku hizi huwezi pata mtu anamwaga taka ovyo. Maana hujui who's next. Ukiweza kurusha taka namna hiyo unashikwa. Tukichukua mfano hata kama pale Majengo, ukitupa taka tu hivi utashtukiwa umeshikwa. Kumekuwa watu kama spies wanafanya kitu kama kile.
A spot check at Mbaraki area a day later and the garbage is back, dumped overnight by unknown individuals. We are told that some of the garbage has been dumped by staff from various hotels and food joints within the city. Those who do this dirty work use pickups and handcarts to dump hotel waste. They do it at night to avoid being arrested.
Tuko na shida moja kama Mwafrika. Mwafrika ni yule ataambiwa jambo sasa hivi, dakika ya pili ni vile atakuwa amejisahau. Na Mwafrika hapa baishwi na usafi. Mimi naweza sema ukijikompea mimi na mzungu ni kitu ambacho inanishtua sana. Wakati mimi nimeangusha lile ganda la ndizi, yule mzungu anashtuka kana kwamba nimefanya jambo kubwa. Lakini nimekuja kugundua kwamba tuko na tofauti kubwa kadri ya Mwafrika na mzungu. Kwa sababu mzungu anakuambia ni hatia kwamba yeye amebwaga ganda chini, lakini mimi sioni chochote cha ajabu nikiweka kitu chini. Kwa sababu ya nini? Mazingara niliyokuzwa nao na wazazi wangu na kizazi kilichopita ni watu ambao hatujali Mwafrika. Hiyo tu tunaweza kusema. Kwa kuwa kama kungekuwa sisi tunajali usafi, nafikiri tungelianzia pale nyumbani.
A month after we filmed activities here, the county government of Mombasa decided to erect a fence and barricade the entire area. This move seems to have worked. At the end of this month, the Kibarani dumping site will be closed for good, bringing an abrupt end to activities that have lasted several decades here. But the county government is staring at another challenge almost immediately. The dumping site that has been proposed to start full operations once Kibarani is closed is called Mwakirunge. It is situated tens of kilometers away from here. If transportation of garbage to Kibarani, which is only 2 kilometers from the city, has been a disaster, what of 10 kilometers away? There is also the issue of residents living in Mwakirunge who have always been up in arms against moving the dumping site there, saying it will be a health hazard.
There may be little activity there, but we have some activity going on. Although we have issues with the Kenya Airports Authority, particularly with that particular location.
The county government of Mombasa, however, says it is prepared.
30 plus 10 extra days. Those are 70 days I'm giving you. You must close Kibarani. Iwe njia tu ya kupita hapa, watu wakenda airport, and you tell me, create the alternatives. You have the trucks. You want more trucks, we will give you. You want more equipment, we will give you. Go to the households, collect takataka, peleka mahali ambapo panastahili, but it will not be Kibarani anymore. Tumekubaliana?
It has recently purchased several trucks that will be used to transport garbage to Mwakirunge. Governor Joho, who commissioned the trucks, says changes have to be made for the gains to be achieved.
Whether people want to appreciate it or not, there has been tremendous progress. Sivyo vile hali zilikuwa pale zamani.
But just like many dumping sites in the country, the biggest problem remains lack of innovation and ways of recycling and utilizing waste. In several developed countries, garbage such as this is recycled and sometimes used to generate energy, among other things. The county government has held several meetings with multinational firms concerning waste management, but these discussions have not yet been implemented.
I have received probably almost 20 proposals from people who are interested into coming into waste management. And some want to come in just to collect, and take it to the dump site. Others want to come in and recycle a number of those wastes. There are others who want to convert that waste into energy so that they generate some power out of it. Others want to do biogas. Then there are others who want to develop what you call a sanitary landfill, so that we don't have the open dumping the way we do. So they streamline the collection in such a way that the waste is dumped and landfilled in such a way that after a number of years, we close it down and then make it, for example, a park, a recreational park or so those proposals are in. I think the point where we are now analyzing is some of them, they want to take it as a contract that the county pays. And when you look at the figures that they are quoting, they're quite huge amount of figures that the county may not be able to.
This being Governor Joho's last term, many are hopeful that one of his main pledges in 2013, which is to create a clean environment in Mombasa, will finally be implemented. Should it fail, then the problem of garbage disposal, it appears, will, just as has happened before, be transferred to yet another leadership after the next election. And the conversation will start all over again. Nimrod Taabu, NTV, Mombasa.